a couple of common questions like, what do beans or quinoa count as? What do vegetarians do? But let's go ahead and do a little FAQ on some more frequently asked questions about the 21-day fix, portion fix eating plan. Can I eat foods not on the list? Sure, you can eat anything you want. Nobody's telling you what to do. However, it's 21 days, so just stick to the list, if you know what I mean. Why mess with something that works so well? So can you eat off of the list? Yes, nobody's going to stop you, but it's way better just to kind of, for 21 days, go with what is on the list. Or if it's not, then use your brain, like chocolate's not on the list. Okay, yeah, so that's not a vegetable. Rutabaga, that is a vegetable. That kind of thing, but it's not a common one, so it's not going to be on there. So, you know, use your common sense. If you need to do a little research, you can, but I would say for 21 days, just stay with what's on the list. It says eat 4 of one of the containers, but I only have, you know, 1 of each of them. What do I do? Well, these are mainly for measuring. You do have tops to them, so you could say if you wanted to just bring, you know, a little portion of egg or some turkey that you wanted to eat as a snack, pop the lid on them. But really, these are more for measuring, and like I said, the baggies from Target are a great way to grab and go with them. I don't like bland foods. I like recipes and complex foods. Are there recipes? Yes, absolutely. The book has some great recipes. There's some for chili, tacos, what's this? Edamame with sesame seeds, hearty beef and butternut squash stew, poached eggs over asparagus, turkey meatballs. Lots of really good ideas here. But if you want more inspiration, then I say go to Pinterest and just search for 21-day fix recipes. But be careful, because just because it's on the internet or Pinterest doesn't mean it's actually healthy or clean eating. So make sure you're not trying to like cheat or like use not clean foods to fit a mold that shouldn't be fit into. What about condiments? Well, things like tea, not a condiment, herbs, mustard, vinegar, Tabasco sauce, those things are fine. Mayonnaise, no. Ketchup, no, it has sugar. So, and even like sriracha, that has sugar in it. So, vinegar, mustard, herbs, garlic, that's what you want to stick with. What about coffee? Well, coffee's fine. But coffee with a bunch of sugar and cream, gonna want to cut it out for 21 days, at least. A lot of people, you know, are addicted to both the caffeine and the sugary goodness from the drinks that they make or buy at Starbucks. So what I recommend doing is you can have up to 2 tablespoons of milk or like coconut milk a day in your coffee. So I would suggest, if you are used to a creamer that's really sweet, first cutting down and doing the tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of milk or coconut milk or almond milk. And then if you're used to it being sweet, then you could try a little dash of maple syrup instead of the sugar or the high fructose corn syrup that comes with the creamer. And I would suggest weaning yourself off that way. And then over time, you may even decide, oh, I could do this without the maple syrup or anything sweet and just a little bit of milk. Or, oh, maybe then I can do it black. But don't freak out like you have to just totally, you know, go at it black. But you are going to want to cut out those creamers and Starbucks. What about milks? Well, this might be bad news to some of you, but during these 21 days, during the 21-day fix, you can substitute milk twice during the week, and it's going to substitute for one of these yellows. So basically, it's going to be whatever milk or coconut milk can fit into one of these yellows is going to be the amount of milk that you can have for the week. So basically, 2 of these guys a week of milk or milk substitute, besides, and that's in addition to the 2 tablespoons a day that you could have. But you will be subbing them out for, whatever other carb. What about alcohol and chocolate or sweets? Okay, don't despair. You can have it twice a week. You can, once again, sub one of the yellows and instead have 6 ounces of red wine or a square of dark chocolate. So that can be your substitute. And remember, that's twice a week. Remember, this is 21 days. It's not the last end of the world, but these are really, really healthy habits. You kind of need to focus on both any weight loss that you want to have, and then also learning your body and how it responds to foods. And if you're going and you're eating sweets or chocolate every night, or alcohol or wine, then you are going to have no idea when you have a stomach ache or you get bloated if it was the yellows you ate, or if you just are doomed, or if it was indeed that 1 or 2 little cheat meals that you had. So for 21 days, just no cheats, okay? You can have twice a week. You can exchange a yellow for a little bit of wine and a little bit of dark chocolate. Okay, I hope that little Q&A session was helpful. So I want to give you a couple of tips on how to get through, especially the first few days of the 21-day fix, or portion fix eating. Because the first couple of days, you may feel a little bit hungry. And that's probably mainly because you are used to eating a lot more fats and carbs. And you will probably end up at the end of the day with lots of greens and lots of reds, and then you'll be like, I didn't eat all my things, but I'm also hungry. And it's because you're thinking, I don't want to eat a bunch of, greens at 9 o'clock at night. So this is my tip. This is how I get through. Now, some people's bodies are different, but this is what I do. So I start the day, breakfast, with a Shakeology. So there's going to be a red, and then I usually put a full purple or half a purple in there. So maybe a banana or maybe some berries. And then I'm not adding milk because remember that's twice a week and it's just not worth it to me. Even though milk in Shakeology or coconut milk for me is the most delicious. So it's hard for me on the 21-day fix to just put water, but if you put the banana in there and you put a teaspoon of nut butter, because the spoons, that's not that hard to give up, then it makes it creamier. Another recipe that's really good that we're going to use not milk with is if you do coffee, and you can do also a teaspoon of nut butter and a banana. That makes it creamy and good. And then to make it really, really not adding a bunch of extras, ice, and so all these be blended with ice. Ice, water, the chocolate, Shakeology, and then 2 drops of peppermint essential oils that are the food grade. And that's awesome. So refreshing. And like I said, it doesn't have any of the milks or fruits or anything, so you're not using any of your containers. So that's what I do for breakfast. And that usually holds me personally over for about 4 hours. So I have found myself not snacking at all during the mornings because I don't feel shaky or I don't get low blood sugar because of the nutrients and the protein in the Shakeology. So for me, I'm able to kind of go past snack time because I like to save my calories in containers for late night snack because I stay up late. So don't feel bad if you do get hungry and you need a morning snack because I just operate differently. So then for lunch, here's my secret weapon. I do these salads. And you might be like, oh, no salads. I'm not talking about like chopped lettuce with some tomato and like carrots sprinkled on there. No, here's my formula for salads. I'm going to share this later in the week too from my mason jar salad. But basically what I do is I start with some onion just for flavor, and then I add some fruit, chopped fruit. And I can do a whole purple or half a purple. And things like berries and pineapple, mango that are kind of juicy fruits, those are really good because I don't use dressing because, like I said, I like to save my spoons and my fats for later in the afternoon. So I use a juicy fruit to kind of be my dressing, and the onion kind of gives it like that little, ting too. So I use that, and then red protein. You can do ground beef if you want it kind of like a Mexican flavor type thing. Chicken is obvious. Fish also is great. Then I think this is probably like the real key is I do a whole grain's worth of roasted vegetables. Now these root vegetables like butternut squash, rutabaga, turnips, beets, those kind of have a buttery flavor and they're going to taste like a carb. They just taste hearty. But then you can also do asparagus, broccoli, green beans, carrots, whatever. But I do those green. And then I do another green of lettuce or spinach or kale or chard or whatever, but like a leafy green. Now, if you need more greens in your day, then you might want to do like 3 greens. So 1 or 2 of roasted vegetables and 1 or 2 of the leafy greens. But that's how I conquer lunch. And notice I don't put cheese, I don't put nuts, and I don't put dressing because for me personally, I don't want to get to the dinner or at night when it's just more stressful for me as the day goes on, and that's when my that's when my cravings come back. So I want to have a plan to where if my cravings come, I know that I can eat nuts, and I'm lactose intolerant, but I can eat cheese or avocado or coconut, things like that are really indulgent to me. And notice I also didn't use any of my yellows for breakfast or for lunch. And because once again, for me personally, I just want those for breakfast or I want them for my afternoon or late night snack. So that's what I do is I conquer breakfast with Shakeology, and for lunch I just go for that really hearty salad with lots of greens and the protein. And so then later in the day and night, what you don't want to do, like I said, is be left with just a bunch of reds and greens because it just puts you in a weird place because it's not probably what you're craving. But my red and green snack fail-proof plan are hard-boiled eggs, because 2 hard-boiled eggs is 1 red. So like late at night, let's say you have 1 or 2 reds left and you're like, don't want to go be eating just meat, you can get a hard-boiled egg and eat that for a snack, and it really fills you up more than any other carb or thing you're craving. And then for greens, I love to make kale chips, and I will be including in the group my wonderful recipe for kale chips I love so much. They're crunchy, salty, you can put garlic or lemon pepper on them, and it just hits the spot, and it's the texture that does it, and it counts for a green. One more tip, drink water. Water is going to fill you up. Don't be eating and then drinking water, but eat your meal that you know is right, and then wait 15 minutes because it usually takes about 15 minutes for our body to signal to our brain that we're full. So wait about 15 minutes, make sure that you're good, and then drink some water, and then see how you are doing. And like I said, a lot of moms will ask about breastfeeding, and they don't want this is a FAQ that I should have done. They'll ask about breastfeeding and their supply. And so what I recommend for that, if you're worried about that, is this is what moms want to do. I have breastfed 5 children, so not getting anything past me. You can drink mother's milk tea, that's one. You can also take fenugreek or different things like that. If you're worried, you should probably use oatmeal for your yellows if you're concerned, because oatmeal is a galactolog, which is going to help you create more milk. And okay, one of the biggest keys, and this it's so obvious, but yet I think a lot of nursing mothers skip over this, is you need so much water, so much hydration. So you're just starting this workout plan and you're sweating more than you have sweat in so long. Your hormones are crazy and they're making you sweat. And so you need like so much water, and this little person is like taking liquid out of you, and yet so many nursing moms don't drink enough water as it is, and then they don't drink extra water when they start exercising. So I was actually nursing 2 babies at one time, and I would, those big hospital cups they give you at the hospital, I would have to drink 1 or 2 of those every time I nursed to keep my supply up, because it's liquid and you're giving your body nutrients. Like, you have to realize that this is all real foods and nutrients. So if you went and got some like snack crackers and ice cream, like what do you think your milk is filled up of? Like, seriously, water, drink the water, but where do you think those nutrients are coming from? Like, that's a scary thing. So this is actually forcing you to eat so much better than you've probably been eating, and your milk supply, you should not be worried about it. You should be like excited because it is going to be so much better, but you need to drink the water. And if you are just so hungry and you've gone through all of your boxes for the whole day and you're just still so hungry, don't just go for the yellows and the blues and the oranges. I would say actually start the opposite. I would say add a protein in, then a green, and then maybe a healthy fat or a purple. But just don't make the excuses in your head, because it's not the yellows that you need. It's the other more nutrient-dense foods. So I love you, breastfeeding moms. Like, you're awesome. I totally get you. But this is good food. This is good for you.